All right, it is Wednesday, April 2nd, here on the East Coast of the United States. It is 11 a.m. And today, I'm just going to let you all ask me some questions. So you can ask me questions about English, ask me questions about learning English, ask me questions about teaching English, or ask me questions about myself, my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, etc. Really, anything that you want related to English or me and my relationship with English. And let's see who is here. I see Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida was the first person to comment. Good morning, Kevin. I see Rhea is here as always. Glad to join today's live. Thanks a lot. Evelyn is here. Sapito is here. Azuz says good afternoon. Good afternoon, Azuz. I see Jane is here from Thailand. Jane says, good morning, Teacher Mike. I'm so happy to join your live. I enjoy learning with you. Thank you very much. And what's amazing is that Jane actually found my Facebook page when it was still very small. And at that time, she could understand almost nothing that I was saying. But she continued to watch my videos every day. She's done that for several years now. And as you can see, now her English is really good. Um, there is a spelling mistake, evening, but that's just because she's typing on her phone. But you can see spelling, capitalization, even the comma before Teacher Mike, all very good. So thank you, Jane, for continuing to learn with me, and I'm glad that your English is still improving. WXRD_01, the best teacher. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sajda Ahmed, hello, good evening from Iraq. Hello, good evening. Actually, I guess Iraq, not Iraq, but in America, we often make it the A sound, ah. Guerma, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Okay, so again, today I'm just going to answer some of your questions. But first, I see a comment from Renata, who is a YouTube member. So Renata pays a small fee every month and helps to support my YouTube channel. So Renata, thank you very much for joining. And again, thank you for being a member. Irena, also a subscriber on Facebook, so also helps to support my page. Thank you very much for joining, Irena. Okay, and so the first question that I see today is, hello, teacher, how to improve English quickly? So, the basic answer is that to improve at anything quickly, you just need to spend more time doing it. So, if you study 1 time per week, you're not going to improve as fast as someone who studies 6 times per week. So that's the basic answer, is you just need to do more. There's no magic, there's no secret, you just need to do it. You need to increase the amount of time that you spend learning. There are other things that you can do as well. For example, make sure that you are practicing speaking. Lots of people study but never practice speaking. And if you only read and listen but you never speak, your speaking is not going to improve. So if you want to improve your speaking faster, spend more time speaking. That's really it. That's how you get better faster. Spend more time focusing on the skills that you want to improve. Also, if possible, reduce the amount of time that you spend with your first language. This isn't possible for everyone because we all have different situations, but if you can, try to put yourself in an all English environment for as much time as you can. But again, that's really the same thing. That's just more time with the language. Can you recommend a newspaper that helps me to improve my reading skill? Um, I'm not sure if I understand the question 100%, but all all newspapers that have English are good. Um, if your question is, are there any newspapers designed to teach English? I'm not 100% sure, but any newspaper will be good. Um, it also really depends because when you say improve your reading skill, if you have difficulty with reading as an adult, you might need a teacher or a professional to help you. But if your problem is just vocabulary, when you read, you see words that you don't know, then yeah, any newspaper is good. All newspapers are good because you open the newspaper, you see a word that you don't know, you check it in the dictionary. Now you know a new word, and the next time you see it, reading will feel a little bit easier. But again, that's not really a reading problem, that's a vocabulary problem. But yeah, any newspaper that you want should be good. There might be there might be newspapers designed for English learners, but I don't know what they are. How can I improve my listening skills? So the main thing that you need to do to improve your listening is, and this is what I recommend, listen every day. Well, that's what everyone recommends. Listen every day. Spend as much time listening to English as you can. So 1 hour per day, 2 hours per day, 3 hours per day. That would be good. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe you don't have that much time. Then spend at least 15 minutes listening to English every day. That's it. And that's the first thing that I recommend. The second thing that I recommend is stop trying to understand everything and stop translating. Both of those things make listening really stressful, not comfortable. So, what you want to do is just relax. Don't worry about understanding everything. You might only understand 15%, 20%. That's okay. That means that you're going to improve. If you already understand everything 90%, 100%, that's too easy and you're not going to improve. So you should be listening to things that are difficult. You should be listening to things where you don't understand everything. And again, don't worry about understanding everything. Just listen, relax, understand what you understand, and when there are things that you don't understand, don't worry about it. Just keep listening. And this is why I believe that all of you really can listen for 1 to 2 hours per day, because when you're on your way to work, on the subway, in your car, riding your bicycle, just listen. Put your headphones on or the radio in your car and just listen. Because again, you don't need to understand everything. You just need the sounds and the words going into your ears and into your brain. That is really how you are going to improve your listening. Spend lots of time doing it. And again, it doesn't matter if you understand everything, because when you're trying to improve your listening, that's not really the goal. The goal is just to hear the same things again and again and again so that you become more comfortable with them. And when you hear them in the future, they are not new to you. Yeah, that's what I recommend. And I have videos about this on YouTube. Let me grab a video for you right now, and I will share it in the comments. One moment, so that all of you can find this video easily and watch it later. One moment, please. Nope, I don't want that. One moment, just one moment. I am finding the video for you. Okay, so now I have the YouTube video that I would like you to watch. I'm going to send it in the comments right now. And don't watch it right now. Just come back to that link later and watch it. But yeah, now there is a video in the comments, and after we finish this live lesson, you can come back and watch that video. And Yavuz Ozgul. Hi, dear teacher Mike. Best regards from Istanbul. What can I do to improve my vocabulary? Okay, and thank you. Thank you for the super thanks. I see your comment at the top, but I can't. Here it is. Okay, so first, this person sent me 219 and 99. I don't know what that currency is, but thank you very much. Thank you. So the question, what can I do to improve my vocabulary? I actually shared a video about this, I think yesterday. So I'll send that video in the comments as well. But really, to improve your vocabulary, you need to be reading and listening to new things every day. You need to, and your goal should be to find things that you don't understand. So when you're using a book to improve your vocabulary, if the book is easy to read, you're probably not going to improve your vocabulary very much. What you need is a book that has maybe 5 to 10 words that you don't know on every page, so that you learn 5 to 10 new words on every page. Because when you find a word that you don't know, you look it up in the dictionary. So that's one thing. When you're reading, don't choose things where you already understand everything. Choose things where there are lots of words that you don't know. Another thing, if you want to improve your vocabulary quickly, another thing that you should do is every time that you see something in real life, ask yourself, do I know what this is called in English? For example, oh, here, I have chapstick. Pretend that I'm learning Spanish. Chapstick. Oh, I don't know how to say this in Spanish, so I'm going to look it up. Or oh, a pen. I don't know how to say this in Spanish, so I'm going to look it up in the dictionary and do that often. Anytime that you have free time, look around and say, what's that called? What's that called? I know what that's called. Ooh, I don't know what that's called. Let me look it up in the dictionary. Yeah, that's those are two of my main pieces of advice. And let me also send the video for vocabulary. I'll send that YouTube link in the comments as well. Just one moment. So this is my video, 10 tips to improve your vocabulary fast. I'm sending it in the comments right now. So for anyone who is interested, you can copy that link and watch it after this video. And thank you again. Thank you again for the super thanks. Okay, I'm going to find a few more questions. This is one that I've talked about before, and I'll say the same thing that I said before. How could I get a test to know my English level? What kind of online test would you recommend to me? So, test, I don't know because I've never used online tests to measure someone's English level. As a teacher, when I have real students, I just talk to them and I ask them questions and I check their listening, I check their pronunciation. Because I'm a professional teacher, when I talk to someone, I can tell them what their level is. So I have never needed to use an online test, and I don't think that most online tests will give you an accurate result because they do not measure your speaking. And speaking is important if you want to know your level. So, what I recommend, give me one moment, please. What I recommend is that you do a Google search or just search on the internet for TEFL levels and read about the different levels because each level has a description. It tells you if you can do this and this, you are this level. If you can do this and this, you are this level. So, what I recommend is searching for TEFL levels. And if you can't find anything in your first language, copy it, paste it into Google Translate or ChatGPT, and translate it into your language. And then you can read about the different levels. Good question. If you want an introduction book for grammar. So I think this person is asking if you want an introduction to basic grammar, what book should you use? Um, Honestly, if your grammar is very, very low, you might want to start with a book that is in your first language. Um, I don't usually say things like this. I don't usually recommend using your first language to learn English. But if you are at a very low level and you want to start understanding rules, it's going to be difficult to do that if everything is in English. It might be easier if it is in your first language. So you can search online for books about grammar in your first language. Um, but really, what I recommend is when you are a real beginner, you don't need to read books about grammar. You just need to start building your vocabulary and learning simple sentences. Like, how are you? Where are you? What is this? That is a dog. And you start listening to these things every day, reading them every day, and looking for opportunities to say them every day. And that is how you really start building your grammar, is by learning basic words and basic sentences and practicing using them. Good question. Mike, one question: how to effectively use pauses in speaking? I am a big fan of your use of pauses. Amazing clarity. Okay, thank you. So pause, and if anyone doesn't know this, pause just means stop for a moment. And I don't pause a lot in normal conversations, just with friends and family. But when I'm teaching, I have to think a lot about, what does this person really want to know? What is the best word to use in this situation? What's the best way to explain this? Um, so I pause when I am thinking. So right there, I paused because I didn't know what to say next. So I thought about it for a moment. Um, Also, I pause when there are details that I want you to understand, I really want you to focus on, I really want them to go into your mind. So I wait a moment before going to the next word or the next subject. And you can do the same thing. When you need time to think, just take a moment and think. When you want someone to really understand what you just said before going to the next idea, pause. Take a moment. Let it go into their brain for a moment and then continue speaking. Interesting question. Good. Sorry, I had to block one person because they keep asking the same question again and again and again. And I've already told you all lots of times that I do not want people to do that because it makes it very difficult for me to read the comments. Okay, so that person is blocked. Oh my God, they commented like 100 times and I can't see other people's comments. Um, okay, can I delete? I can, sorry, you all. So this person, Junior Chiremba Jr., commented like 100 times, and it's making it really difficult for me to see your comments. Um, Hi, Mike. What do you think about Anki? Does it work? So I've never used Anki because when I use flashcards, do I have my flashcards? Yeah, I do. Um, when I use flashcards, I use real flashcards. For anyone who doesn't know. And I saw another question. Another question was, what's the best way to memorize new English words? And one of my top answers for that is always flashcards. Every time you learn a new word or a new phrase, make a flashcard, write it down, And then don't just make the flashcards, but you have to use the flashcards also. Hopefully, every day. So for me, when I'm really focused on language learning, I will spend 10 to 30 minutes every morning reviewing my flashcards. If you don't know how to use flashcards, I already have at least 1 or 2 videos about that on YouTube. Um, okay, I'll send one. I'll send one in the comments right now. Just one moment. And I know, I know, I still need to answer the question about Anki. Just one moment, please. I just want to make sure everyone knows what flashcards are before I answer that question. So right now, I'm sending a link to my YouTube video about how and why to use flashcards. You can see that video in the comments. So again, don't watch it right now, but if you're interested, just copy that link, open it in a new tab, watch it when this live video is done. So what do you think about Anki? Does it work? Again, I've never used it. I can't tell you 100%, but I can tell you that I have heard of it many times. So it must be okay. But again, I don't use an app. I use real flashcards. But the idea is the same. Flashcards are good. So an app for flashcards is probably also very good. I recommend trying it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, just make your own flashcards. That's fine too. Good question. We're going to do 1 or 2 more questions. Also, please don't write really long questions. If you write 3 or 4 sentences, it's difficult for me to read that while teaching. So please just keep your questions short and easy to understand. Don't say, "Hello, sir, I would like to know." Just ask the question. Just ask the question. Daniela, a question. Lay and lie. What's the difference? This is another one that I have a video about on YouTube. I recommend searching for it. But the basic answer is that lie is what you do on a bed or a sofa or the floor. Lie, lie down. Lay means put. For example, I'm going to lay my phone on my arm. So lay basically means put or place, but lie is what you do with your body. Lots of native English speakers use this incorrectly, and that is part of why it's confusing. How to improve pitch, intonation, and vowel pronunciation to sound more like a native speaker. I always speak English in Thai accent, with a Thai accent. So how can you make all of your sounds sound more natural and more like a native speaker? Good question. The basic thing that you need to do is listen a lot. Listen to English every day. And when you hear something and you think, oh, that's interesting, that's not how I say it, repeat the thing that you hear. So you're watching TV, you hear someone say something, and you think, oh, I'm saying that wrong. Listen and repeat the thing that you hear. And try to do this every day. The number one thing that you need to improve your pronunciation is spend more time listening. If you want to sound like an American person, spend more time listening to American people. If you want to sound more like a British person, spend more time listening to British people. Another really important thing, especially for Thai people, is lots of English teachers in Thailand write the English words using the Thai alphabet. And when you use the Thai alphabet, you make Thai sounds. You don't make the English sounds. Like when you write the word the and you use dodek for the, you're always going to say it wrong because you're not using the English alphabet. Um, so that's another really big thing is don't don't learn how to pronounce words using the alphabet that you use in your language. Instead, just listen to native speakers saying them and try to repeat what you hear. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's do one more question, just one more. And I'm seeing lots of good questions. Thank you all very much, but I'm not able to answer all of them. Very quickly, Alan, I have a video about this on my YouTube channel, so I recommend going to my YouTube channel and looking for that video. I'm looking for one more question that I really think will help people. Because I see lots of good questions, but they aren't all questions that I think will really help many people. One moment, I'm looking for the final question. Okay, is there any difference between the English that you use in teaching English and the English that you use in normal conversation? This is a good question. So lots of people say, I have difficulty understanding native speakers, but it's really easy for me to understand you. Why is that? So that's because I speak very differently from the way that I speak in normal conversation. And this is several things. One is that when I'm teaching, I speak slowly and clearly. Um, you all probably noticed this, but when I read your questions on the live videos, when I see a question like this one and it's written pretty well, I'll speak a little bit faster when I'm answering it. But when I see a question that has lots of mistakes and is a little bit difficult to read, that tells me that that person's English is a little bit lower, so I speak slower and more clearly. So that's the number one thing, is that when you're teaching, you should think about who you are speaking to. If you know that lots of people have difficulty listening, speak a little bit slower. If everyone seems to be a bit more advanced, speak a little bit faster. So that's one thing. The other thing is that there are lots of words and expressions that I use all the time in everyday conversation, but I don't use in the classroom. And there are several reasons for this. One is that the language that we use in daily life, we often use it to show our culture and show our personality, show who we are and our style of speaking. And in the classroom, I'm supposed to be a professional teacher. So I'm not trying to show you this is where I'm from, this is how I speak. I just give you the language that I think will be useful for you as an English learner who is not from where I am from. Also, we say lots of things in real life that are not really appropriate to use with students. So I have to, that's another reason why sometimes I have to stop and pause while I'm speaking, is because the way that I would say it in real life is not always appropriate for a classroom or a professional setting. Or even if it is appropriate, it's just very informal, and I try to use language that I want you to repeat. I try not to say things that don't sound good and things that I don't want you to say. Um, and that's difficult because everyone, it's not my job. It's not my job to tell you, say this, don't say this. But at the same time, I know that lots of you want to sound professional when you are speaking English. So I try to avoid a lot of the informal and maybe grammatically incorrect things that I say in my real life because I don't want you to repeat those things. Yeah. So yeah, the language that I use while teaching is not the same as the language that I use in real life. Um, but at the same time, it is the language that I use in real life when I'm speaking to people who have lower levels of English, or sometimes when I'm speaking in a very professional setting. Um, but overall, yes, there are differences between how I speak when teaching and how I speak in real life. You've just made a mistake. Speak more slowly, not speak slower. Slower. No, no, no. That's usually what we say is speak slower. Usually we say speak slower. You can say speak more slowly, but honestly, it's a ridiculous thing to care about. Um, but yeah, I saw one other thing, but I can't remember. But yeah, that is the questions that we are answering for today. And again, I've sent a few videos from my YouTube channel in the comments. Another thing, if anyone does not yet have my ebooks, I'll send that link in the comments as well. Um, Again, I have two ebooks. One is about 8 ways to practice speaking without a partner, and the other is about how to learn to think in English and stop translating, which is a very important thing to learn to do if you want to speak fluently and confidently. So yeah, the link for that is now in the comments. If you want the ebooks, please look for the link that looks like this. And the last thing I want to say is that my Facebook broadcast channel, I will also share this link in the comments right now. So my Facebook broadcast channel is a Facebook Messenger group where I give announcements. For example, 1 hour ago, I sent a message saying, hey, we will be live in 1 hour. Don't forget to join the live video. Or when I have a new video, I also share the new videos in that Messenger group to make sure that you see them, make sure that you know about them. So if you want to make sure that you get announcements from me and make sure that you see all of my new videos, all of my new posts, I highly recommend joining my Facebook broadcast channel. The link is now in the comments. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for joining, and thank you for all of your wonderful questions.